So first of all, what is automation framework? Right? First of all, what is automation framework? Automation framework is one of the framework where while designing the test case, some standards should be set in that framework, right? So while writing the test case, we need to follow those standards. Okay, where you need to have the right where you need to write the test case. Okay, right. So after while to write the test cases, you need to interact with the one web page, right? So how you can find the elements and how you can write the actions related to that particular page, right? So where these particular code you need to add, right? And if you are using okay, so to work with one web page, first of all, what do you need? You need the Selenium WebDriver, right? So the Selenium WebDriver, it is one of the class which has some functions, right? What are the functions you have to identify the element, to identify multiple elements, right? And to work with the different kinds of, if you want to click, double click, all those functions, right? How you can handle that alerts, how you are going to handle the windows, how you are going to handle the frames, all those code where by using Selenium we can do, right? So where this kind of code we should use, we should not repeatedly do the task repeatedly, right? So normally without framework, what we can do, if I ask you to write a test case, what do you write? Directly everything you will place in one particular test case, right? So you are not separating. We need to follow some certain standards, right? We need to follow some certain standards as part of the framework. The standards would be defined in the framework, right? So we need to follow certain standards and make reusable components. So instead of repeating the same thing again and again, make reusable component in somewhere in some particular file, right? Use that reusable component wherever it is required. So that is the framework design. That's how framework design would be evolved, right? So what we need to do, we need to design the framework. What is framework? Is a framework is nothing but a set of rules or standards to while we are using while designing the test cases, right? So how we all the reusable component, lot of reusable, lot of code we reuse, right? So those code, how we can separate into separate files, and then how we are going to use. So that is nothing but automation framework. Okay, we'll set up some rules and standards to design the test cases. By following those rules and standards, you can create your own framework. Okay. Okay. So how many people created some test cases? Yesterday, I didn't take any class. I just asked you got to write 2 test cases by using Selenium. How many people worked on it?
Last week only I practiced login and register
Okay, very
page.
good. So normal, right? Normally you have written 2 test cases. Yes?
Yeah,
You didn't
yes, sir.
follow any framework, nothing, right?
Nothing. No, sir.
Very good. Very good. Any others? I'd like to hear from Sri Krishna and Shahjahan.
సార్ ఫ్లిప్కార్ట్ మీద అమెజాన్ మీద చేసాను సార్ టెస్టింగ్ కేసెస్
ఎక్కడైనా పర్లేదు. ఫస్ట్ I need you have written few test cases. Then only what are the topic I am going to tell you now, you will understand. Otherwise, there is no use.
ఓకే సార్
Because you need to face the problem. While writing the test cases, I am writing every day the same thing. Okay, Mahesh, I can understand. So Krishna, you have written some test cases.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Shahjahan, what about you? He is busy with office. Antena? Shahjahan, are you there?
అవును అవును
Yeah. No,
అవును 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 సార్
ఆఫీస్ లో ఉన్నావా?
అవును సార్
ఓకే. ఇంత పొద్దున్నే వెళ్ళిపోయావు. ఓకే. చలో చలో. ఓకే. So, just I'll give high level description, right? What is our framework? How we are designing the framework, right? So, mainly, um, so this is high level framework design, right? What you will do normally, you will write the test cases. Where do you write the test cases? The test cases are nothing but automation scripts, right? The test cases where you are going to write by using n unit, right? By using n unit, you are going to write the test cases or test scripts, right? So those are nothing but test layer, you can say, or automation scripts. That is first layer, right? In that, what you are going to do to write one particular test case, what is the first starting point, Java?
Sir, to start the browser.
Hmm.
Web browser.
Okay. So first of all, I would like to test this login application. This is simple test case. I need to click on this login button and entering username and password. This one without framework, everyone knows, right? How to write, how to find the elements since you went through the Selenium course, right? So first of all, what we need to do, we need to open the web application. This is the Node Commerce site I've opened. After that, what we need to do, next step, you need to come here, man icon, and click on the man icon. Then you will get login page. Then click on the login element. Then entering username, find the elements. So already the code is there with me. This is the code, right? See here, I didn't use any framework here. Okay, up to now. Okay, na? This code, everything you know. You have idea or not? ఎవరికైనా డౌట్ ఉంటే చెప్పండి. నేను ఏం చేశానంటే driver dot find element. Okay, by that all these things you should know, right? I hope everybody knows this. Who are previous, who are attended all the Selenium sessions, right? How do you find the element? By using this. So here, my account is nothing but this one. This is the my account button, right? You found that, you clicked on it. After that, once I clicked on it, once I clicked on the my account button, I got some login link. I found that, and I clicked on that login link. Okay. And then after clicking on it, once I clicked on a link, right, I got username and I got password, and I should enter username and password. I need to click on the button, right? So this is the test case without any framework. Clear? I entered username and password and I clicked on the login button. Okay, let's see. Is it running or not? Any issues? Failure. Right. I will stop. Hey, here, what is the code we are using to launch latest? What version I am using here? First of all, Selenium. Because for the latest version, Selenium 4, what is the latest code? Latest version of the Selenium. Hello. If you use 4, you need to set the system property. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What is the latest version we are using without system.setup? I think 4.83, right? Go to Maven repo. ఎవరికి అర్థం కావట్లేదా?
We are able to follow, sir.
Sir, 4.90, sir. 4.9.
4.9 4.83 ఉందా లేదా?
83 ఉంది సార్, బట్ 4.90 వచ్చింది సార్.
వద్దులే, 4.83 లోకి వెళ్ళు, మనకు మరి తెలియదు. ఓకే ఓకే. సో ఫస్ట్ ఆఫ్ ఆల్, వాట్ ఈస్ ద బెస్ట్ అడ్వాంటేజ్ ఆఫ్ Maven project? Why we are not going for general Java projects? Because see, now the latest, earlier we used 4.0. Now I would like to update, I would like to use Selenium 4.83 version, right? Very simple. I just updated the version. That's it. I didn't do any, there is no need to do any other things. Whereas if the application is a old application, project is Java type project, then you need to download that artifacts, right? Download those DLLs, all those things. You need to place somewhere and you need to give the references, right? That is difficult. So that's why this is easy. You can Maven project. Our project is Maven project. You can easily update the latest dependencies. There is no need to write once again code anything. Just update the version. So I am using, right, to open the Chrome. What I need to do? One option I need to set. What is that? Remote allow origin. That option. Otherwise, it won't work.
Add remote origin.
Version update in the. So version update in the, it is trying to. Chrome driver started successfully without adding that also. Now 4.83 it is working. In 4. Earlier we checked 6.3. At the time it didn't work. Now 4.83, that issue was resolved. Now the test case worked, right? See, Malli is created, password entered and clicked on this. You got unsuccessful message. This is one test case, right? Without any framework, I have written one test case. Did I use anything? Or do you know these things, you know, or you don't know? Any complex issues here to understand the framework, to understand the test case? Very simple test case. I didn't write any framework components here. Just a plain test case I have written. Okay. Right? Plain test case. Yes or no? Sri Krishna?
Yes, sir.
Yadana Rasha. Okay. Now, if I want to do another test case, what should I do? I would like to write one more test case.
Just
What
by
should I do?
adding another method with the test
Oh.
annotation.
So, what is the second test case? Might be I need to click on the register and enter first name and last name. This is one test case. Very simple one. What should I do to do the registration test case? To perform the registration test case, what I need to do? First of all, I need the driver. Yes, right?
Yes.
I need to open the web application with the driver.get. You need to open the web application and you need to maximize the window and you should use some implicit weight, right? After that, you click on that login button. Oh, sorry, you click on the my account button and then what you need to do? You need to click on the register. How to click on the double links? Simply by using the partial link text. Register, register, or link text, right? So this is the, when I click on the register, register, okay. When I click on the register, I got one web elements. So what are those web elements? First name. I would like to enter some text. How to find the web element, you know, right? Or you forgot? ID. So what is my ID? First name. And I would like to enter in text in the last name. What is the ID? I have ID. So very simple. Okay. I'm entering something. And finally, what is the button? Register button. I just, for the testing purpose, I am telling you, I'm not entering any big things. Register button. I'm clicking on the, this is ID locator I am using. This is register button. Right? I have written two test cases. Okay. So first name, last name I am entering. I am entering first name. అందరికి తెలుసు కదా నేనేమన్నా తెలియంది చెప్తున్నాను. Okay. Now, if you observe, I have written two test cases. One is login test and there is registration test. Two test cases I have written. Now, what is the component repeatedly you are seeing here? First point. In these two test cases, what is the thing you are seeing repeatedly?
First 5 lines of code, sir. Starting
These
with
lines.
driver and
Web
URL.
driver,
This
web
is the
application.
repeated thing, right? Here also you need the driver. For every test case, you need the driver. To start your test case, you need the driver, right? So how it will become a test case? First of all, you need to have at the rate test tag, right? So now I have two test cases. In these two test cases, First, I have seen some repeated tasks. So what is that? Driver. Every test case requires the driver. Every test case you need to launch one web application, right? This is the common thing. So whatever the common thing is there, so this common thing, if I move to one class file, so I'll make one in I'll move this code to one class file. I will make into one function, right? If you call that function, automatically you will get the driver. Is it easy or not? You have one function, you have one class file. Inside a class file, you have one function get driver is one function. If you call that function, you will automatically get the driver to your test case. Once you got the driver, you can work your elements. Is it yes? Is it okay or not okay?
It's
Instead
okay,
of repeating the things, repeatedly writing the things, just move the thing into one class file. Right? That is nothing but base test. Create one base test class file. Okay. How do you create base test? Go to test files, go to testng, create one testng class. What is the name? Base test one. Okay, already there. That's why I'm doing base test one, right? So this is a test annotation file. This is a test file, right? This I'm creating a base test, right? Inheritance concept I am using here. So this is the example. You need to say what concept in first thing they will ask you in interviews. Okay, do you know OOPS concept? So where do you use those OOPS concept in your framework? Okay, yeah, the answer will come here. Okay, you need to listen clearly. Okay, so first of all, I am creating a base test. In that base test, what is my intention is create a driver creation mainly. Create the driver in one class and pass the driver to all child classes. That is the intention. Create the driver in one class file, right? In one class file, one method is the responsible to create the driver, right? That function will create the driver and pass the driver to all child classes. Okay, so that's why I created the base test. Base test in the base class that class can be inherited by all the classes. That is the intention. Okay, now so annotations, test ng annotations, you know, right? We discussed about all the annotations. Before method, after method, right? So at this time, I need just before method, after method. But anyhow, I am writing all tests are not required in this file. Before shoot, after shoot, data provider. I am adding here. Okay, guys. So before method, when this particular event will, when this particular method will fire, who has the knowledge about test ng, they can answer the question because you are ready for the interviews. At least 3 or 4 people. Kilo nada. Nathan Rad. Sri Krishna. Before method, when it is going to fire?
sir. Before test case run అయ్యే ముందు before method run అయ్యింది sir.
So, see for example, this is the test case. Before starting this test case, first before method will invoke. Okay, na e function invoke అయింది. So, what we need to do? Simple, very simple. చూడండి. What are the code you have written here? These 5 lines, cut 5 lines, paste it to here. Very simple, right? Easy kada? అక్కడ నుంచి ఫస్ట్ 5 లైన్స్ తీసేసి we kept here and create one public variable, public web driver driver. Right? Clear? అర్థమవుతుందా?
సార్ చిన్న డౌట్ సార్,
చెప్పండి.
అక్కడ మీరు పబ్లిక్ వెబ్ డ్రైవర్ అని పెట్టారు కదా, పబ్లిక్
Hmm.
అని డిఫాల్ట్ కదా సార్, యాక్చువల్ పెట్టినా పెట్టకపోయినా అది గ్లోబల్ గా తీసుకునేదిగా.
Yes.
ఓకే సార్.
ఓకే.
ఓకే సార్.
షాజహాన్ వింటున్నావు కదా? ఓకే, ఐ కెన్ అండర్స్టాండ్ యూఆర్ లిజనింగ్, ఐ నో. ఓకే ఓకే, సో వెబ్ డ్రైవర్ ఉంది, రైట్? సో డ్రైవర్ ని క్రియేట్ చేసే కోడ్ ఐ క్రియేటెడ్ ఇన్ సపరేట్ క్లాస్ ఫైల్, దట్ ఈస్ ద బేస్ టెస్ట్ క్లాస్ ఫైల్. అండ్ హియర్ ఎందుకు బేస్ టెస్ట్ లోనే పెట్టాను, ఈ బిఫోర్ మెథడ్ లోనే ఎందుకు పెట్టానంటే, సో బిఫోర్ స్టార్టింగ్ ఎనీ టెస్ట్ కేస్ ఫస్ట్ ఈ మెథడ్ కాల్ అయింది. బిఫోర్ మెథడ్ విల్ బి కాల్డ్ బిఫోర్ కాలింగ్ ఎనీ టెస్ట్ కేస్. సో driver creation responsibility I have given to this before method, right? Now what is this? This is the base test extends. What is this? Is this example for inheritance or not? Yes, it is example for inheritance. Base test 1. So first interview question lo oops concept lo one of the example. సో ఇక్కడ చూడండి, ఇందాక దాకా ఈ బేస్ టెస్ట్ లేకపోతే, ఇఫ్ యు ఆర్ నాట్ ఇన్హెరిటింగ్ ద బేస్ టెస్ట్, if you are not inheriting the base test, you are getting the error, because driver, this class here in this class you didn't see anywhere driver variable, you didn't see anywhere, right? So that's why, boss, where is the driver? It is asking where is the driver variable. You are using one driver variable, you should create a local variable or something, you do something. So but where I created the driver variable? In the base test, right? So is this clear? పవన్ ఉన్నావా? Yes, sir, sleeping. Okay. After method, it will be executed after closing the after done with the test case. Okay. So this is the example for inheritance here. Okay, I have a base test. In the base test, whatever the code I have written, that code I am using. See, I created the driver variable, right? The driver is initiated in the before method. So the driver variable, I am using all my child classes. Here I am just using the driver variable. That's it, right? Okay, na? So this is the one step in the framework design, and this is one example for inheritance. Example for inheritance. This is the one you need to tell. Okay, clearly. I have a base test one. I have one base class, a base test class. That base test class, we have a driver variable. Driver creation I did in my base test class. That driver variable I am using in all my child classes by extending that base test. This is the example for inheritance. Clear? Okay. And first part of your framework, right? Now, very important point. Page object model pattern, right? So whatever the pages in automation, what you need to do, right? What are the pages you are looking for? Each page, you should have one class file. Each page, you should have one class file. That is the page object model pattern. So this is the second layer of your automation framework. Now, this is one page related, right? You are doing the login test, right? You are doing the login test. Yes or no? You are doing the login test. This test, all the code is related to one particular page. What is that page name? This is the login page. Okay. So whatever the functionality you are doing on this page, you should create one page class. In the pages section, right? You need to create one simple page class. Login page. Okay, na? So this is one of the design pattern. దీన్నే page object model అంటారు. Right? Very simple. I just created one page class. Right? So test layer అయిపోయింది. You have written one test case here. అవునా? You have written the test case
Yes, sir.
without using any page object pattern. Now we are going to implement the page object pattern here. So what is the page object pattern? In the page object pattern, what are the web elements you are seeing? First, you need to define the web elements at the top section or at the constructor level. Right? How define the web elements? Where is my code? Login test without a framework, right? So I need this web element, right? Right into first I am doing the locators. Okay. What is the type? By. What is this? My account. Like this, right? Web elements. This is not web element, all the locators, right? I have the locators here. Second locator. అర్థమవుతుంది కదా? login locator. You just locate it. Okay. So two locators. Username. By it is not web elements. These are the locators. Okay. What is the type for locator? Is it an integer, string, or what type? Locator, what is the type of the locator?
XPath, and it will take string as a parameter.
No. Locator type. What is this?
By
By locator. By
Okay.
locator. For example, see, for example, it is integer or string like that. What are the data types are there, right? In the Selenium also, they created some custom types. That custom type is nothing but by. All the locators types are by. What is the locator data type? What is the data type for locator?
String, sir.
By string.
No, yeah.
By
This
Web
one, this
element,
one.
sir. Web element.
No.
Huh?
Web element for web element.
locator.
Elements. These are
Okay,
not
okay.
web elements. Is
These
this
are
web element?
locators.
Did you find that web element?
No,
No.
sir. No.
You
Return
use
type
the
is
locator.
web element.
No.
These are
Let me
locators.
see. You are writing that when you are going to get the web element, driver dot find element. Then you are going to get the web element, right?
Yes. Okay, sir.
But before the driver dot get in driver dot find element, you need to pass the locator, right? Whether might be XPath or might be ID or partial link text.
Yes,
That
sir.
locator. Just I am creating the locators here. Okay. Locator data type would be by. Okay. See here. Username.
By
What?
okay.
See. If you create a variable, how do you create? For example, string name equals to something. That is the variable, right? The same way here by this is also variable. By is the data type for the locator. Clear?
Yes, sir. Clear.
Like this. So far password. We need to give the variable name, password, LOC. Why I am giving? So you will get confused between locators and web elements. That's why I'm clearly saying this is locator, this is locator. Okay, I'm not finding the web elements. Finding web elements, I will do local. Okay, this is clear. Oh, button. Right. So first, what I did, I found all the locators of the element. Right. So now I'm going to write the functions now. What is that? Login public void login to app. See here, whatever the code I have written here, cutting down and moving to page class. See now your test case is empty, nothing is there, right? In your test case, you don't have anything. All the code moved to two class files. One is the login page, another part is driver part is moved to base test, right? Now driver. See, this guy is giving error. So because this guy he doesn't know where is the driver. Actually, driver is coming from base test, right? But it doesn't have any relation with the base test. Okay. So, this is the driver. Here you can create one variable, private web driver. This is the local variable. So this dot driver equals to driver. So this variable and this variable, we are importing that. Now through the constructor, you are going to get the driver here. That driver you are using in all the functions. Now you remove this code. You remove this one. Right? So my account. Where is that locator? You should use this locator. If you use the locator, then you get the element. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
If you use this locator, you got the login button clicked. Right? Username. You want to enter the username, right? Username. In this username, use this password. Use this. See, this is the page object design pattern, right? Whatever the pages you are seeing, see, this is the customer, this is the login page, right? See, customer login to the application. This is the login page. For login page, you should create one class file, right? You should create one class file. For example, you are working on the registration page. What you need to do? What you need to do? You need to create one more class file
One more class file.
as register. See, you go to the pages class and register page. In the register page, you should create like this, right? Okay, na? All the code you should move to the constructor. Okay, like the same way, you need to create another separate page. What are the number of pages are there in your application? Those many class files you should create. Okay, clear? A class what are the content you should have in the page class? All the locators at one place and the functions. Some people they will create web elements directly. Some people will have only locators one place at the starting of the class file. You should have all the locators. Those locators you can use in the functions, right? Clear? This is the page class. It is
Sir,
one of the
Can you repeat why driver is private here?
Because this driver cannot be used, should not be used by other classes, right? This driver is useful in this class only. Others should not use, right? If required, right? Get the driver, that base class you should get the driver from test cases, right? At the test level, you have the driver, no?
Yes, sir. Yes.
So that driver you are passing through the constructor. When you are creating the object for this login page, right? At that time you need to pass the driver. That driver will come here. So you have the local variable, right? Whatever the driver you are passing, that driver is assigned to your local variable. This local variable you are using here to find the element. Okay. First of all, you should understand what is the page object design pattern. It is most important when you are explaining about your framework. Now we discuss two layers only, test layer and pages layer, right? But how we are going to use this page class in our test case? Now my test case is nothing, it is just empty. Now we divided every section, it became empty, right? Nothing is there. So how do I call that function? Whatever the function is there in my page class. Where is that actual function is there? What are the thing you need to do? In the page class, right? So I have a page class. I have a function in the page class. If I want to access those functions in my page, in my test case, what I should do? Chapali,
We should extend that class, sir.
extend.
We should call the method, sir.
How do you call? How do you call?
By
You have written one class, right? You have written one more class, right? In that class you have test cases. You have created one page class. In that page class you have some functions. How do you call those functions?
We should create
Concrete
object for
object
that
creation.
and call,
object
sir.
Very simple. ఎందుకు చచ్చిపోతున్నారు ఇంతసేపు? You have to call those functions. Simple. Go to your test case. Right? This is my test case. Here, what I need to do? I need to create the object for login page class. Login page equals to new of login page. Right? So, what you need to pass? This is giving error. Why? It required something, it is required. What is that? Driver. Okay. So import that login page. Right? Here, this driver from where you are getting? Chala clear ga. Your answer is sir. From where we are getting this driver variable?
Base test.
Login test page, sir. Login test class.
No, this driver variable
test
from
class.
where you are getting?
Base test ka sir.
Base test. Who is that?
Krishna.
Krishna. Very good. Right? Actually, you created the variable here, public variable. Right? So in the base test, through the inheritance, you got that variable to see. I extended the base test. So whatever the public methods or public variables are there, those variables you can get into this page, child class. So I got this variable here. From here till here, from here I am passing to now. I am passing this variable to through the constructor, I am passing that driver to this login page class. That's how the flow. The driver variable comes from base test to login test class, from test class to your page class. That is the journey of your driver. అర్థమైందా? ఏమన్నా కన్ఫ్యూజన్ ఉందా? Is there any confusion here? Let me know. See, you created a driver variable in the base test. It is a public variable, right? So that variable, since you extended to through inheritance, you are inherited the base test one, right? So you got the driver variable. Now all the test cases knows that this driver variable. So what we are doing, that the driver variable we are passing to login page. We are passing to login page, right? Through constructor. See here, this is the constructor or not? See, class name, function name, same. So that is the constructor. Through the constructor, we pass the driver to here. Now the login page knows driver. So once you got the driver, you can perform the actions. Okay, first what he did, he worked on the find elements and he clicked on that element. So next login button is there, login link. So clicked on the login link. Then he entered username and password. Very simple now. Login page dot. What are the function name I need to call? Login page dot. What is that? What is the function name? Login to app. Right? If I run this test case, let's see whether it will execute or not. I'm running the test case. That's how we need to divide the framework. So today's code, everyone try at least once. Right? The test case is passed. Now we discuss two layers. One is test layer and another is the page layer. Third part is the utility layer that we will discuss tomorrow. Okay, guys? So watch this video. Design your framework till page object pattern. I'll tell you, I'll explain you by designing this approach, what is the advantage you are going to get when you are using the page object pattern. What is the advantage? So we'll discuss that tomorrow.
సార్
Hmm.
ఒక్కసారి చెప్పరా సార్ ఇది